That was beautiful.
I have made some notes. Would you like to hear them?
Not really, no.
shit, and shit. No, I'm joking. That was really cool. I was sort of thinking at a point not long before it sort of dropped halfway through, this needs to go somewhere at some point soon. Otherwise, it's, not for me. And then it dropped, and it did become for me. Actually, I like that. It's very, very easy listening. It had really cool guitar after the drop, which kind of reminded me of the genre shoegaze, which is basically just a ton of cool guitar pedals making some mad sounding music. And probably wasn't that. It was probably more a really good producer behind it. But really, really enjoyed that. Wolf Alice is a band that I've heard and seen on lineups for years and years and years and years and never, ever really listened to. They're on Radio 1 and stuff. Like, they're a big band. Just never really listened to them. And I think I'll be listening to a bit more after that.
Same. I think a lot of what you said rang true for me as well. I mean, like I said, they're a band that I've seen in the past couple of years, but I didn't really listen to. I think this song may get me into them in the sense that maybe it's not my favorite song in history, but I really liked it, and I think it shows that it's a good band that I need to check out. I really like the way it built. There are a lot of songs like this, sort of in the indie sphere, especially on the softer side, that kind of build into this into the soundscape towards the end. Reminded me a bit of even Procol Harum, Whiter Shade of Pale, with the kind of ongoing thing, which maybe really goes back to the roots of indie alternative rock. So quite interesting. I'm interested to hear also what Mike thinks.
Yeah, well, I wanted to touch base actually on what Ben said specifically on what happens when the drums kicked in, and it builds up really nicely up to that moment. I do wish it came quicker, but then that's only because of my rock brain kind of thinking I want it to kick in. But I really like the guitar solo, and that guitar solo is like, it's almost like the Beatles-esque. It's almost like it's been recorded at Abbey Road. And it sounds like it's got that, that sort of like folky vibe. And I really like that. It's really cool. But then also at the same time, it gives me elements of like Sigur Rós, that sort of post-rock. And, like Ben was saying, the shoegazing genre or post-rock genre, whatever you want to call it. It's just more atmospheric. And I love that.
Yeah. Wall of sound kind of stuff at points.
Absolutely. But that's why I said Procol Harum, because that's where... that starts. I'm sure most people will know A Whiter Shade of Pale, which kind of has this ongoing organ sound, which creates again the soundscape. Yeah, very interesting points. But this is a band I look forward to listening to more. So should we look at some ratings?
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll kick it off to start with. I like the song, so I'm going to rate that probably somewhere between a 6.5 and maybe a 6.7 in that sense. So let's give it a 6.6 as an overall rating. I'm happy with that.
For me, it's actually a difficult one, because the reason I rated Mike's one so highly was because of how different it was, and this is something that is very consumer friendly. That's no bad thing, but I feel I'm less likely to listen to this one than the last one, purely because of how unique the last one was, if that makes sense. So based on that, it's still a high score, still really good. 7.
Fair enough. No, I like this a lot more than the previous song. It's, I listened to a lot of this kind of stuff as well. Going back to what you were saying, I don't know, I feel like this is, yes, safe, but it's done very, very nicely. So I feel like they're, what I said before, they remind me a bit of the Horrors, and we'll look at the Horrors in a couple of episodes probably, because they also have a new release, so I'd like to compare that. But, getting to the point, I think I'll give this a 7.5 just because I'd like to rate it higher than the previous one.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. I very nearly rated it 7.6, but I thought I'm in danger of inflating the prices here, the economy and all that
as well. That's what I was worrying about as well, because I can't rate it higher, because then again, what are the 8s and 9s going to be?
Next up is my track, the one everyone's actually been waiting for. I've heard on the Twitter sphere, on the Instasphere, all that kind of stuff. What I've been doing, you guys have gone for more sort of female-led bands, which I massively applaud. Kind of wish I'd done that. Mine aren't that, unfortunately, but they are all from Vancouver, which is really random and a complete coincidence. But they are. So this is Ben's Canada special. But before I go on to that, I just want to say that this is a really interesting track. But yeah, so this song is from Vancouver, but it's also a cover, and it's the most ridiculous cover of Africa by Toto that you'll probably hear. Enjoy.
Can't wait.